The major party candidates seeking to represent Pennsylvania in the United States Senate have spent this week sparring over vegetables. Yes. The Democratic nominee John Fetterman recently resurfaced a video of his GOP opponent, Dr. Mehmet Oz, complaining about the price of crudités. Yeah, I had to look it up too. In a statement to Insider this week, the Oz campaign said, quote, if John Fetterman had ever eaten a vegetable in his life, then maybe he wouldn't have had a major stroke. Fetterman recently returned to the campaign trail after suffering a stroke in mid-May. In response, Fetterman posted on his Twitter saying, quote, I know politics can be nasty, but even then, I could never imagine ridiculing someone for their health challenges. For more on all this, Jon Delano joins us now. He is the money and politics editor for our CBS station, KDKA in Pittsburgh. John, always great to see you. So according to a new Emerson poll just out today, Fetterman has a 4-point lead over Dr. Oz. Is that poll consistent with other data? And who would you say has the momentum at the present time?
Well, first, Major, it's always great to be with you. I always appreciate the chance to talk to you. Let me just say that poll is sort of an outlier. Most of the polls that we've seen, including the Franklin and Marshall poll that's just out today, showed a 13-point advantage for Fetterman over Oz. But the bottom line in Pennsylvania, as you know well, we have close elections, and everybody expects a single-digit race, whether it's the result of the Emerson poll or something close to that, who knows. But it's going to be a very close race. And by the way, I had to look up crudité as well. You know, I may be Ivy League educated, but I never heard of the word crudité. It's veggie tray, man. At least in Pennsylvania, it's called a veggie tray. I don't know about your neck of the woods.
Yes, veggie tray works for me, too. So in the state's governor's race, Attorney General Josh Shapiro is facing Republican State Senator Doug Mastriano. What is the status there?
Well, that race, again, is one in which Shapiro is leading Mastriano. And again, it depends on which poll you look at. Most have shown Mastriano behind by double digits. The Emerson poll, I think, shows it closer. But the end result is that this will also be one of those single-digit races, simply because Pennsylvania is a single-digit state. Republicans tend to vote Republican. Democrats tend to vote Democrats. And then you've got about 1 million independents in between, and they're the ones that the folks are really vying for right now. Mastriano, of course, is a fascinating candidate because as a state senator in Pennsylvania, he led busloads down to the January 6th insurrection, although he himself says he did not take part in any of the violence. But he won't talk to any mainstream media at all. He has kicked reporters out of his vents. It's very difficult to get a hold of him. He won't do any debates on mainstream media. So the bottom line is that it's very, very difficult to have much of an engagement in a campaign like this.
And John, I want to drill down on that just for a second. You're an experienced and really capable local political reporter. And I wonder if this is going to work for Mastriano in the sense that, look, I've covered lots of campaigns in which the national press is derided. George Herbert Walker Bush derided the national press back in 1988 when he won the presidency against Michael Dukakis. It's not a new tactic at the national level. But local reporters have a different standing within their communities. And it seems to me what the Mastriano campaign is doing is keeping him out of the visibility in local markets all across Pennsylvania.
Well, you really make a good point, Major. I mean, the fact is I've been doing this for 28 years. I've never covered a governor's race, frankly, or a U.S. Senate race where the candidate is so unwilling to go on local media. It's one thing to really disparage the national press. They all do that. Donald Trump did that every time he came to Western Pennsylvania. I was there in the back and he'd point. But then he would single out certain stations, never the local stations at all. And indeed, you know, I got one-on-ones with President Trump because I know that he knew that local media is a much better conduit to the public, frankly, than national cable stations. So the bottom line is that Doug Mastriano, I think, just hurts himself by imposing rules. You know, he has this rule that if you're going to cover him at some of these more private events, you have to turn over your video. Well, what station is going to do that? I mean, some of this stuff just doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
No independent journalist is going to hand over video notes, anything like that. It's not going to happen. But in our era, John, of current politics where you like to be known by your enemies, I guess it fits into that particular category. John, we're going to talk to you much more as this race develops all throughout Pennsylvania. Thanks so much for your time.
Always great to be with you, Major. Thank you.